You are Locked On Astros Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
That's it. Call it off. Season over. This team is cooked. They lost to the White Sox. The world is ending right now. No, I'm kidding. But it was not a fun night at Minute Maid Park for the Astros to kick off their homestand as they lose to the worst team in baseball by a final of 5-4 on a weird night. A lot of weirdness to get to. The streak coming to an end. The bats getting cold in key spots. Spencer Arrighetti start. And the question of, now, I guess all losses are bad. But was it like a bad loss? We'll talk about it all as we move along. We'll also get into the Alex Bregman injury and the Shea Whitcomb promotion, which hopefully you'll get to see him play tomorrow. But all this, of course, is here with you on this Locked On Astros Postcast. Thank you for joining us this evening. I, of course, am your host, Michael Connor. If you are new to me, well, hello and welcome. I've been covering the Astros for years. I was in radio forever, and here we are now with Locked On. Very happy about that. If you're not new and you know the story, you're saying, Michael, why are you telling me again? Because you never know who's going to pop by. Maybe they want to know who I am. I want to know who you guys are. You guys can get in the comments and say things. That's one thing we did tonight. And by the way, this episode of the Locked On Astros Postcast, real quick, is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to PrizePicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. So I ask you to subscribe a lot of times. Honestly, one, it helps the channel, and I'm greatly appreciative of you guys hitting the subscribe button. But two, it also gives you like notifications when the videos are up and they are scheduled to go live. So tonight, if you're in the comments section, some of you were in there. We were in there during the game talking. And I think that's something that I would like to do more often. So moving forward, please subscribe, and then you can go to the channel and hit the button before it starts, or hit the link, and let's chat about the game in the chat. I thought that was fun tonight to do that with you guys a little bit. I can't pay attention to all of it all the time, of course. I'm doing things and whatever, like you guys as well. So it was just a nice little wrinkle to it. But let's talk about the baseball game. Loss. Winning streak over. Good news tonight for the Astros is that everybody else in the American League lost. I mean, honestly, you're not worried about the Rangers anymore. They fell to 11 games under 500. They're not even worth bringing up. Like, I don't know why anybody brings them up. They're not going to be a factor in anything. They're done. It's the Mariners. The Mariners lost again. So, like, if you're down in the dumps at all tonight and you hate the way that the Astros lost and you just don't feel, good about it, I'll give you this. The Mariners lost again, and they lost to a Pirates team that had lost, I think, 10 games in a row coming into tonight. You could be the Mariners, who just got swept, in Detroit, and then lost to a team that lost 10 games in a row. And they actually had, the Mariners tonight, a lead early in the game against Paul Skeens, and they lost. They got 2 runs off. That offense got 2 runs off Skeens, and they couldn't win. So there's that. I'm trying to give you a positive vibe. We've not had to do a loss show in quite some time, right? I need to pull up the calendar to get you the exact date of when the last time it was we talked about a loss, because it's been a second. It was on the 5th of August. Today is the 16th. That was not this Monday of this week. That was the previous Monday. That game against the Rangers. So, guys, it's been a minute since we've talked about a loss. And you know what? They weren't going to win every game the rest of the season. Now, you go through it. The bat's not doing anything. Against Garrett Crochet to start the game, I think you're kind of expecting it to be difficult. Last time they faced him in Chicago, they got to him later on in the start. But the White Sox have gotten, the whole trade deadline saga for him kind of just went weird, and the way that he handled it and didn't get traded. Now the White Sox have kid gloves on him, and maybe it's in part because he wants it too. he does not want to pitch games. And he pitches 4 innings and they take him out. And so you're thinking when that happens tonight, because look, this White Sox team comes into this one, they're winners of 29 games in the season. So tonight they moved to 30-93. This team's losing 115 games. Maybe even 120. But, you have that happen and you think, okay, he's out. It's going to happen. It just didn't happen tonight. I mean, really, nobody. Jeremy Pena had a couple hits tonight. Caratini had a hit to set up Jake Myers, who hit one over the fence, but he did nothing else. Obviously, John Singleton with that pinch hit home run there. I do want to point out one guy, the guy that made the last out of the game. And I'm not even talking about, I guess I could have gone and harped on Chas McCormick. He had a big situation as well with 2 men on and 2 out, and he just dinky little chopper over there to third base, and then what do you know? And there's now Chas McCormick again. I don't know why. I know why Chas McCormick gets at bats because, look, they're kind of strapped outfield-wise, and they have to have guys. They have to have warm bodies out there. That sounds terrible, but, like, some nights they just have to have a warm body play one of those positions. Chas is that guy tonight. And they struck out a ton. I get it. What was their number on strikeouts tonight? They struck out. Why am I not seeing? They struck out 16 times in the game. Yainer Diaz did not help the cause. He had 14 of them. He didn't have 14. What am I talking about? He had 4 of them. I'm sorry, Yainer. I added 14. If he had 14 at bats, the Astros actually won by like a billion runs. No. He had 4. Caratini had 3. And DeCinzo had 3. DeCinzo right now looks completely overmatched. I don't know what they're going to do about first base. And they're just going to have to keep playing John Singleton, I think, at some point. We'll see what Whitcomb does, what they do with him, if he can hit at this level. But, these are guys that are AAA players. They're probably not completely ready for the big leagues. I want to talk about, too, a guy that I got to, I'm not doing this as a gloat, look at me, I was right, you were wrong type of thing. And it wasn't necessarily on here. I think more than anybody else, I got it on Twitter, X. You can find me at Connor Michael. I almost refuse to. I don't know. I just want to refuse to call it X. Still, it's Twitter. But Jose Altuve this season, we've talked about it recently. His chase percentage has just been insane. That I just really that at bat there at the end, or that at bat early in the what I gotta go back and find the inning when he was up and he had a chance to drive in some runs. And, he's just up there flailing at everything. He's gone back in the tank. So look at this. You go to his MLB.com page. Last 15 games for Jose Altuve. He's hitting 206. Does have 3 home runs. Or, excuse me, no, just 1 home run. 206 with 3 runs batted in. 6 walks to 9 strikeouts. You go to this past week, the last 7 games, 219 batting average. He has been awful. And heck, over his last 30 games, he's hitting 262. I know that, again, batting average is not something that matters in baseball necessarily anymore. But, like, when you've got a guy like Jose Altuve, you want to see the 3 in front of the number. He's down to 297. His OPS is down to 782. Like, they've been a little top-heavy in the lineup recently. They've not gotten a lot of production out of the lower spots in this lineup. But that guy at the top, Jose Altuve, we all love him and everything. He's not been good. That's the only way to put it. He's not been good at all. And like at bats like that at the end of the game when, you're the tying run at the plate, which I know you just want to get on, which is all you're looking for. And, They needed just something, ball and play, and he's just up there flailing at everything. Sorry, my freaking mustache. If you guys have mustache like that, I got a mustache problem. I've got one hair that keeps poking me in the nose, and it just makes my nose go crazy the entire time we talk. But Jose Altuve has just not had good at bats recently. And I think that it's just something that stuck out to me all season long is that he is just not had great quality. Is it the fact that he's 34 years old and, is a different player at this point of his career that we're starting to see? Is he run down a little bit? I mean, he's played a lot of games this year. He's kind of been – the Astros have played, 120 – is it 121 games now in the season? Jose Altuve's played in Jose Altuve, 118 of them. That's a lot of games. But here's the problem. You can't sit him. Who's going to play for him? And they released Aledmys Diaz today, who I don't even know why they brought him back. Honestly, he got 4 at-bats. He didn't play for 2.5 weeks, sat on the bench. See ya. Talk about him in a little bit. Or talk about, not him, we'll talk about Wickham and everything, and the Bregman news as well. I talked about it on our last show. We've been having a lot of fun lately. Today, not so much fun, right? It's not a fun day. It happens. Sometimes it happens. Let's talk more about the Astros loss tonight. Let's talk about Spencer Arrighetti's streak coming to an end. We'll do that next here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. Right now, I want to tell you, though, about Liquid IV. If you've not had it yet, what are you waiting for? I buy the big packs of them, and you know where I buy my big packs? Well, that's over at liquidiv.com. But also, I love them because they are filled with hydration. Now, I'm a big person that believes in hydration. Not just because I believe in it because it's some crazy myth or something. Hydration is kind of a big deal, and it's kind of hot outside right now. I should know, too, before the game started tonight, about 5 o'clock, I needed to mow the yard. Guess what I did? I went out and I mowed the yard. But guess what? You sweat a lot, and I am a sweater, and it's hot on top of that, and you got to get the electrolytes back in. You got to get everything back in there. And I do it when I'm out mowing that yard by pounding at least 2 Liquid IVs while I'm out there. And I did that tonight. I had the peach sugar-free, as I always do, because it's my absolute favorite. I absolutely love that one. And so that helps me get my electrolytes back up. It's easy. Tear, pour, live more. 1 stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates you better than water alone. No more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code LOCKEDONMLB at checkout. That's 20% off your order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. Locked On Astros Postcast here tonight. Michael Connor back here with you, your host. Thanks for stopping by. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We will be back with you now. A quick scheduling note for this channel. We are with you after all Houston games. I mean, honestly, I was looking back at it today. We have not missed a game in quite some time. Now, tomorrow in our city is a little bit of an interesting day. So you have the Astros in the evening. Hall of Fame weekend, by the way. They're going to do the Hall of Fame thing tomorrow night. 6:10 first pitch. I will be with you for that game. I should be there with you for 2 games tomorrow because the Texans play their 3rd preseason game tomorrow at noon. Unfortunately, we have a birthday in the family tomorrow. That is a party that I'm going to. So, and it's at 2 o'clock. So I will not be doing a postcast for Texans Giants tomorrow. I wish I was. I'm going to watch it. But there will be no postcast for the preseason game tomorrow. It will be back for the next one, the final one against the Rams coming up for that. But we'll be with you for the Astros game tomorrow night and hopefully talking about a win in that one. You can find this show, by the way, in the audio version of it by searching for the Locked On Astros Postcast. Anywhere that you get your podcast, it is absolutely free. You'll get this show as well as the Locked On Astros show. That's Brett and Eric. Those guys, as always, doing a tremendous job keeping you informed as Astros fans, getting you instant reaction as well. Saw they had some stuff up earlier when the Whitcomb news came out and everything. So go check them out. Check out their channel as well when they are live. And then watch and listen to everything on YouTube. Spread the love amongst our Astros community here with Locked On. Go see those guys when you leave this show. Again, hit that subscribe button here, and you'll be with us whenever we are live here on this channel or, again, on the recorded version. So Spencer Arrighetti tonight, not insanely sharp, correct? Wasn't horrific. Like, honestly, the Astros against this Chicago White Sox team, like if you tell me a starter gives up 4, I'd still feel like the Astros can go out there and win that baseball game. But he wasn't at his best. There's just no way to deny that. Obviously, Luis Robert did pretty well again. Luis Robert was a problem tonight overall for the Astros. He went 4 for 5 with, guess what? 4 of the White Sox 5 runs driven in because he hit 2 of them over the fence. Arrighetti just wasn't as sharp. He's been really darn solid of late. His streak coming to an end of consecutive starts that went at least 6 innings. He had gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive starts with 6 or more innings. Tonight it ends at 5 2/3. Like I said, he wasn't horrifically bad. He just wasn't good. And those days happen. I have still been overall impressed with the steps that he has taken recently when it comes to starting to look a little bit like, a little bit like a big league pitcher that you can count on, and his ability to get a little bit deeper and all that. Everything has been a lot better. It really, really is. And no, by the way, I just see this comment. I just pulled up the comments here real quick. Where are we here? This is me doing this live. I just saw this. Oh, there you go. If the Astros lose tomorrow, I could talk about them for 3 minutes and talk about the Texans. No, I'm not going to do that. I'll mention it, but I'm not going to talk about it. The Astros aren't going to lose. That's not going to happen. They're going to win tomorrow. They are going to win tomorrow. Simple as that. You're not going to be perfect every night. And I do try to. Now, if they go out tomorrow and lose the White Sox again, then yeah, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to be mad tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, let's just sit here and see what you can do. Like, figure this out. Do your thing. Stop losing to a bad team. I said this the other night, and I said it with a purpose. And you guys know this. I mean, look, bad teams, even the White Sox who are trash, are going to roll into what? 45 wins? They should be about 50, but they're probably not going to get there. We watched the Astros for 3 years. Well, I know a lot of you didn't watch. I still watch because I'm a psycho. When they went out and lost 100-plus games for 3 consecutive years. But even when you do that, you still go win 50-plus games. You're going to have to beat teams to do that. And you're going to absolutely, you're going to win games against teams that you shouldn't beat. The White Sox, they just in their last series, I know that they ended up losing the series, of course, but in the game that they won against the New York Yankees, they slapped them around. It's like, that's why I try to, let's temper it when we're mad, in that quick moment of post game where you're just you're a rage monster, like the woman on the street behind me today. I was getting over in the left-hand lane. Probably 25 feet of room between her and I got over and it pissed her off, and she's slamming that horn. Why? She's just probably mad about something. Like we can be in this moment when the Astros lose. Go lose the next 2 or get swept. Lose 2 out of 3 to the White Sox. Yeah, I will be ticked because that's not what you do at this point of the season. This team did a really good job on that road trip, beating some teams that, a couple of them that are above 500. One of them was above 500. The Rays were floating right around there, and I think they were under after the series. But going 8-1 on a 9-game road trip is significant, very significant. And you don't want to see them come home and, mess around too much. Let's talk more about that. Let's talk a little bit. I forgot to mention the batter's eye tonight changed, which is interesting. And of course, the Astros news of the day. Bregman with the elbow. Are we worried about this at all? Was it a little bit odd to you like it was to me? We got a lot to get to. We're going to get to that next in the Locked On Astros podcast. PrizePicks. It is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members, and you could be number 5,000,001. There's more than 5,000,001, but you could be the next member, and you should be the next member. You know why? Because PrizePicks makes the games a lot more fun. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. Doesn't that sound nice right now? I know it does. It does. If you're looking for promotions, PrizePicks has got you covered every week, from lowering select player stat projections on Tuesdays to help you in your lineup hit, or getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Friday. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Locked On Astros Postcast continues on a Friday night. Thank you for stopping by and joining us. If you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. If you're watching this later, do that as well. We are on the steady climb. Where were we at? I do mean it. Like when I look at the number for this channel, how quickly it's happened, it always stuns me. Oh, we're getting close to 1,700. You guys can do that. You can help out. Let's get to 1,700 subscribers. We'll be back tomorrow night, too, for, again, game 2 of this 3-game series where the Astros tomorrow night, they don't have to face Garrett Crochet. That's good. Hunter Brown up against Chris Flexen. Flexen, I know that wins and losses isn't indicative of a starting pitcher, but he's 2-11. He's got an ERA of 5.34. Those numbers are bad. Let's hope that that's the guy that shows up tomorrow night when the Astros play the White Sox and he pitches to that 5.34 ERA and the Astros bats go nuts and it's just all fun and games. You don't got to worry about it. Right back to the winning, and that's it, right? Yes, that's what's going to happen. I did have this question up there on the thing, and you guys can send it or not. Was it a bad loss? Or is it just a bad loss, or is it just a loss? I think it's just a loss. They didn't do anything egregious necessarily, like kick themselves from like if they went out and made a bunch of errors. Now, they struck out a ton. But, it wasn't like they went out there and just completely wet the bed left and right. I'm not overly upset about it. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes these teams are going to beat you. Do I go into a series like this as a fan when the Astros are playing it and think, oh, you're going to sweep this team? Of course I do. I think it'd be silly not to. The Astros were coming off of 2 straight sweeps, and they're playing a team, again, that coming into tonight's game had 29 wins. They're terrible. They are the definition of booty flakes. As bad as it gets. So, I guess, from that standpoint, it was a bad loss. But I just think it's a loss. I think that's what it is. Not bad, not good. No loss is good, I guess. Unless it, for some reason, helps you in the standings or whatever. Excuse me. Yeah, that's right. This old man's going to go to bed soon. Because that being out in the sun wore me out earlier. The news of the day. I wanted to get to a couple things real quick before we said goodnight. The batter's eye changing. Interesting that they've waited this long to paint it black, change it to black. We'll see if it makes any kind of difference at all. But it's just like out of nowhere, hey, the batter's eye's black. And Chandler Roma, the Athletics, said, the Astros players haven't gone to management about it. Like they haven't complained about it or anything. They just, I guess, decided to change it. Almost like you probably should have done that years ago. And I don't think it's ever going to be any better because it's just that there's too much action out there. There's people above the batter's eye. There's the whole area. There's some fluorescent light, the screens, the LED stuff out there. That's what distracts those guys. It's not the batter's eye. It's never been the batter's eye. And they've actually hit okay at home this season. They've played a lot better at home this season. It wasn't anything like last year. So we'll see if it makes a difference. The other news of the day, the Bregman, it was so weird. The Astros send down, and I know that Bregman is, if you guys have heard me talk about him before, I'm sure, those of you that have been here before, but, he was always really good with us in the media when I've been around there. It's something that, it's just weird that when the player wants to talk to the media and they set the time for he's going to speak at 3:10, and they send something out saying he's out of the lineup because of swelling in his elbow. And then he comes out and says he slept on it funny. Just based off the Astros' history alone with injuries, I don't buy it. I'm not going to buy it until I see him back and he's not going to play this weekend. First of all, if he misses these 3 games and then they get to Monday and he's still not playing, and then it drags into the middle of next week, then they're stupid because they didn't put him on the injured list. It's just dumb. This franchise has a bad habit with not giving you guys accurate information when it comes to injuries. Giving it to anybody. It's kind of boldly lie through their teeth. It's a strategy that's been deployed by the head trainer who won't speak to the media himself, even though majority of the teams in the league, their trainers do speak on the record with the media about player injuries. He's just been that way forever, and it's like they just subscribe to it. So, I hand up, official. I am concerned. If you ask me if I'm concerned or not, of course I'm concerned, given their track record of how they deal with it. The other one is bringing up Whitcomb. I like DeZenzo. I don't know what he's going to be, if he's going to be a big-time major leaguer or not. He's been in the minor leagues for a minute. He played well last year, I think, at Corpus. Then got called up. Didn't play very well at Sugar Land. Now this year he's leading the minors in home runs and runs batted in. If you're going to bring him up, which they did again, release Aledmus Diaz. If you missed that, look. This team has a lot of things they got to do in the offseason, like getting some bats inserted in this lineup from the outside, but they also have to work on their bench depth. They really do. It's a problem, and you're seeing it right now. So, DeZenzo and Whitcomb up now together. I guess it's a battle to see who gets more playing time moving forward and who performs for this team. So, hopefully, again, tomorrow night we'll be talking about a victory when this one wraps up. A 6:10 first pitch, so 9:30-ish, hopefully at the latest. Or I shouldn't say night, hopefully. No, we should be done way before that. Let's hope 8:45 we're doing the show by then. Hunter Brown versus Chris Flexen for that one. Thanks for stopping by. Again, hit that subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, we'd appreciate you to come back tomorrow. You guys enjoy the rest of your Friday night. We'll talk after Astros and White Sox. Game 2 tomorrow on the Locked On Astros Postcast.